Okay, so this is the Stronghold Digital Mining update for June 10th, 2024. On Friday, June 7th, 2024, we finally got our May 2024 Bitcoin production update. And I think this is significant for a variety of reasons. So first and foremost, Stronghold mined 82 Bitcoin during the month of May. Now, what I thought was perhaps the most important number on here, there are two of them actually. One is the amount of revenue that we are estimated to have generated. It's about $5.2 million based on hash prices averaging around roughly 5 cents, just a little bit over 5 cents, like 5.2 cents. So that's a pretty significant decline from the roughly 9.5 cents that hash prices had been at during Q1 2024. Wherein we saw some really, really healthy, not just gross revenue numbers, but net income numbers, as well as just overall cash flow numbers. It was just phenomenal. We had a really, really good quarter. The Bitcoin halving took place in April, and as a result, everything is down like by 46 to 50%, right? Depending on what numbers you're looking at. I just checked hash prices a short while ago, and they were at about 5.7 cents, so not that dramatically higher than the roughly 5.2 cents where hash prices averaged during the month of May. So what does this mean for Stronghold Digital Mining? I mean, our stock price has been kind of like gaining some traction. What's really going on here, right? Because on the one hand, if you look strictly at hash price, it doesn't make sense that our stock price would be doing as relatively well as it has been doing the past, say, 7 to 10 trading sessions, give or take a little bit. Well, what I believe is starting to happen is based on developments in other companies, some of our peers in the publicly traded Bitcoin mining ecosystem. We're starting to see more and more interest from companies that are involved with machine learning and artificial intelligence, who have tremendous amounts of capital and a voracious appetite for both electricity and data center infrastructure. We're starting to see those entities look at the Bitcoin mining landscape and say, we're not really that interested in Bitcoin, right? But we are interested in some of these assets that have been fully developed, right? They're there, they're energized, and they're basically available for use for, say like machine learning, artificial intelligence. And so as a result of that, and as a result of some very, very interesting developments pertaining to some other companies in our industry, we're starting to see like shares of Stronghold Digital Mining gain some traction, because as frustrating as it is that the market still doesn't quite really even understand what we do, it seems, there are elements of the market that might be waking up to the realization that, Stronghold has, right, about, I think it's like 130 megawatts between Scrubgrass and Panther Creek of fully energized data center infrastructure. An additional roughly 25 megawatts of data center infrastructure that is not deployed yet, but that is in storage, which has the potential to be deployed. I mean, hey, make a couple calls. Find out how long does it take to get a transformer delivered? How long does it take to actually build a data center today? Let's say we wanted to build it today. Let's say you and I decided, hey, you know what? For fun, instead of buying fancy sports cars, yachts, whatever, hey, we want to build a data center. And we want to start that today. There's not enough money in the world to essentially make this happen on a very, very short time frame. Okay, it's not the kind of thing where you could just say, okay, you know what, I'm willing to pay a little bit extra. I want everything built within, say, 4 months or 6 months at the most. We're talking about like years in some cases. I mean, the equipment just isn't physically available, right? You can't just digitally create out of thin air a transformer or other mission critical infrastructure that's needed today, right? And so as a result of that, a lot of these companies that, again, are just infused with tremendous amounts of capital are starting to look around and say, hey, these Bitcoin mining companies, hey, maybe some of them are interested in potentially selling us their operations, or perhaps, entering into some sort of long-term agreement whereby we can co-locate our equipment at their data centers, right? And so we're starting to see the market really take notice of some companies in our industry. And I think on the peripheral edge, we're starting to see shares of Stronghold Digital Mining reflect some of that interest that's out there. Now, what sets Stronghold Digital Mining apart from my perspective is that, hey, listen, our board has already authorized, this process to go forward to say, hey, you know what? We want to pursue strategic alternatives, right? I mean, it's like saying, hey, we are open to these conversations, right? Hey, you don't have to beat around the bush with us. Just show up with a proposal, right? We're at a point where we're like, hey, you know what? The market just simply has not understood our story. The market is simply not valuing our assets in any remotely comparable way to our peers, which just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to our friends in management. It doesn't make sense to our board. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to a lot of us, right? It's kind of like, what's going on? Are we in a twilight zone? Now, of course, the detractors are going to be, oh, Stronghold, yeah, they're going to be the first to go under. I've been hearing this now pretty much since we went public. And Stronghold is still here. Stronghold has executed marvelously well on some incredibly challenging endeavors. This company is so amazingly adaptable to market conditions. And I'm so incredibly proud of everything that Stronghold has accomplished in its relatively short lifespan as a public company. So I have every bit of confidence that we are going to come out of this in one piece. Now, are we going to literally be in one piece as a company, or rather is it a matter of, hey, our mine waste to energy facilities get acquired by companies that are perhaps very comfortable, right, with that industry, right, running these types of operations? Will the data centers then be acquired by another company entirely different from the ones that may potentially have an interest in our mine waste to energy facilities, or any number of permutations, right? There's just so much going on here, including, lest I, omit this, our carbon capture initiative, which is just completely forgotten. I mean, there's literally no talk about this anymore, right? I mean, the market just forgot. But today is June 10th, and the expectation is that we will be an accredited, right, provider of these carbon credits, right, that will be transactable. I mean, I'm paraphrasing this not to get too deep into the weeds, right, by the Puro Earth Registry, which is owned by NASDAQ. And once that takes place, we're going to have something to potentially sell to entities that are interested in buying corks, right? Carbon capture credits, essentially. And that has the potential to be transformative, certainly in the short term, for our company, because the goal is to go into the forward market, say, hey, let's sell into the forward market, and then over time build out the project so that we can deliver these credits. And that's something that can be very, very beneficial to Stronghold, beneficial to the environment, and incredibly beneficial, arguably even more beneficial to whatever entity is buying these credits from us. The same is true for any entity that were to acquire these assets. I mean, the company is going to be getting, a real bargain, because ultimately, right, we're just not being valued at a premium. I mean, hell, we're so radically undervalued compared to our peers, that to the extent we even just get, fairly valued, it's still arguably going to be an amazing deal for any company acquiring our assets, because there's just so much incredible potential built in to these assets. So yes, May 2024 was a challenging month. It was the first full month after this most recent Bitcoin halving. Our revenue numbers are not great, but they're not as bad as they could potentially have been. So let's continue to see what transpires in the marketplace. Let's continue to be attentive to what developments may occur, right, with regard to the assets of our company. I, as always, am remaining very positive. I'm going to continue to try to be great, okay? And we're going to see each other again soon. Don't know exactly when, right? Because again, as I've said, I want to be strategically cautious with what I'm broadcasting. I want to allow this process to play out. I don't want to front run any news, right? I don't want to necessarily disrupt or derail some potentially very sensitive ongoing conversations that are taking place as I'm creating this broadcast. So again, this is all very strategic on my part. Otherwise, yes, I'd be pushing out content 7 days a week probably, because I'm truly excited about a variety of things going on in this market. But out of respect for the process that our company is undertaking, we're going to remain strategically more silent than usual. Okay, my friend, I look forward to seeing you again in the not too distant future.